What's up, y'all? We have an awesome update by the Ollama team. Ollama now supports function calling natively. Today, I'm going to show you a quick demo on how to test this functionality out. Let's get to it. First, we're going to put this project in a directory of our choosing, and we're going to clone the repo. So we do git clone, and then I'm going to let it finish out. Ollama function calling, cloning that repo, then we can cd into that directory. Here is a list of what the file looks like. We can start our Python virtual environment by doing poetry shell. There we go. And then we can install the dependencies with poetry install. And then what we're going to want to do is make sure that we have a Ollama model that has a function calling tool built into it. So if we bat the README, you can see that we have these models are the ones that support function calling. And then this, just press Q. Okay. If we want to run the main.py file, first let's look at it. We can do bat Ollama function calling main.py. Here is a function that is just going to tell us the flight times. This is just simulating like an API request essentially, but it's a calling on a function. That's the same thing that we wanted. Here's another function just to demonstrate that you can have two functions that Ollama could call, whatever the models could call. So one is going to be get weather forecast where you give it a city, and the other is going to be a departure. So getting flight times and duration of the flight time. That's just random example, but here's the main meat and potatoes of the script here. What we're going to first send it is what's the weather like in Paris. So we're going to do, it should call the get weather forecast, and it should say the temperature is somewhere around 68 and the weather should be clear. If we hit Q to get out of this bat, we can run it by doing Python Ollama function main.py. You may or may not be able to hear my server running in the background, but it should be calling that function. And there you go. Today's weather in Paris is clear with a temperature of 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Remember to make sure you have one of those Ollama models installed. So you can do that by Ollama poll. And then if you want to do Mistral, or I think one was Llama 3.1, right? That's the AB one. But if you wanted to specify the 70B, if you have a beefy GPU, you could do it like that. One more thing that I wanted to show you in this function. So this run function, the meat and potatoes, is given a list of tools that you can see through here. And it takes this type of structure, which should be OpenAI API standard by now. But, you give it some properties. Basically, it helps the model know how to use this function when it calls upon it. We can see that what's the weather like in Paris? That should be calling the weather forecast function. And just for you to see that you can list multiple tools that the model can use, here's the list of tools, and it's two dictionaries, one get weather forecast and this one's get flight times. So we just saw what the function call for this one looks. This should be calling the get weather forecast. This one should be getting you the flight times and duration. So if we popped open a terminal here and we entered the shell and we run Python Ollama function main.py. Now that we've changed that, it should use the get flight times function. So it should tell us the duration flight time from New York to Los Angeles is approximately 5 hours and 30 minutes. If we scroll down and we look at the dictionary that we provided, from NYC to LAX is 5.5 hours. And the question that we asked What is the flight time from New York to Los Angeles? All right, guys, I hope that was helpful. You can make these as complex as you want. You can add in, you can use them as API endpoints. They're basically just functions, right? And now that we have ability to call functions with Ollama, it's a huge, awesome breakthrough that now we're not handcuffed by the big corporations and the big flagship models. So you can use these home local models that are getting smaller and smaller and better. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, or something that you want to see tutorial wise, and I'll make it happen. Thanks, guys. Take it easy.